Before we get to the Galatians 2 confrontation, let's examine chapter 1, where Paul is determined to defend his direct and divine call to teach and to be an apostle, independent, at least initially, from the original 12, including and especially those at Jerusalem. But 3 years after Paul has his conversion, Paul visits Peter and stays with him for 15 days. As we'll see, this is not some insignificant casual social visit and indicates that Paul was not a totally independent Lone Ranger missionary and preacher. Tertullian is perhaps the earliest commentator on Paul's visit to Peter, saying that Paul visited Peter 3 years after his conversion because of Peter's office, no doubt. Tertullian also points out that Paul is introduced to the apostles by other Christians. For Tertullian, Paul was not independent from Peter or the church for very long, and that Paul acknowledged the unique dignity and authority of Peter. Interestingly, Tertullian also tells us that heretics liked to make use of this incident to undermine the authority of the original apostles, including Peter. Some things never change. Though some fragments from Origen survive through Jerome, Chrysostom and Jerome are apparently the church fathers with the earliest surviving full commentaries on Paul's letter to the Galatians. I will make use of their commentaries and others throughout this presentation. Both Chrysostom and Jerome comment on this passage, saying that Paul humbles himself before Peter, and perhaps James, and honors Peter as the chief apostle. Chrysostom points out that the Greek verb used for visit evokes the connotation of those who travel to great and splendid cities to become acquainted with them. The Greek word is historisai, from which we get the word history, which gives the impression that Paul did indeed ask Peter questions and learn at least some things from him over the course of those 15 days, though Paul does not tell us further details about his visit with Peter. Though we can rightly assume there was no conflict between what Christ taught Paul and what Christ taught Peter in the 12 in terms of the foundational gospel message, the fact still remains that Peter and the original apostles confirm Paul's gospel, as we shall see. Though Paul was indeed directly taught the foundational gospel message by Christ, we also have good reason to believe that Paul did not learn absolutely everything from Christ directly, but indeed did learn from Peter and others regarding creeds, liturgy, and other additional important beliefs and practices, as suggested by his first letter to the Corinthians.